We ready? Let's do this. Guys, welcome to the Mobile Hunter channel. I'm Chris Leppert, and today I have the proud honor to present to you the Latitude Outdoors Method 3. Let's check this thing out. So roughly 5 years ago, Latitude really changed the game, coming out with the first ever two-panel saddle. Since then, about 1.2 billion more have come out. Some have been pretty nice, but they then kind of, as any company would do, sort of fixed some issues, came out with the Method 2, which I got to use and killed my first public land buck in Ohio out of mine. And man, I loved that saddle. It's, as a mobile hunting guy, you could call it iconic. Now we have the Primo version, the Method 3. So to go over a few things real quick, obviously you got the rope belt, which is nice. I love a rope belt. Buckles do have their place, but they also have their place in spooking deer. I've dinged many a bow cam and everything on mine, so generally when you eliminate metal, it's going to be a good thing. I always trust ropes more than I trust metal. It sounds dumb, but a billion tiny threads sewn together are going to be stronger than a weld, more reliable, I guess. You just never know what could happen. Then you've got the old butter bridge system here. It's AM steel covered in their vapor line sheath. Super nice, super smooth, as you can see. Probably not the most exciting stuff that everybody wants to hear about, so we'll get to that. So first off, branding and craftsmanship, as always, I feel like anything with Latitude, that's going to be a huge priority. You've got the branding here, and the stitching is superb. When we talk about this being a two-panel saddle, the cool part about it is it can actually function as a single-panel saddle. And I'm not going to say that no other saddle can do that. I'm not currently aware of one. And some of the single-panel saddles are super nice, and I think that's kind of the idea of why they probably wanted to achieve that, because a single panel does have a really, really good place within our space. So when you can make something function like a single panel, but then have that option to bust up your, I guess you'd call it a lumbar support, to support that core. That's generally what we struggle with as saddle hunters. The exciting part for me, though, is the magnetic system here. You've got a place to line everything up every time. So not only does this go together like that, now look here, you can see that this little drawstring got in the way because I'm trying to show you and I don't have it on. When you go to put this up, you can literally stick your thumbs in here, and I'll try to display that for you, but you can stick your thumbs in here and pull that, and it'll come right up into place. It's phenomenal. The other cool thing is they've got these nice little loops here, so that way when you go to sit down in your saddle and you want to pull the bottom down, it comes right down. So kind of give you a look here at what it looks like completely extended. And then next, I actually want to talk about my personal, see that? You can hear it. Hopefully you can anyway, I have a mic on. This is the part that has me most excited. So when you put this saddle on, immediately you're going to feel like you're wearing a really nice pack. What I mean by that is a lot of times when you put a good high quality pack on, the suspension system within that pack is going to have really, really comfortable padding. Right there. That is super comfortable and you immediately notice it right off the bat. The next thing I want to hit on is the leg straps. Now, to preface this, you can always tell when a really good hunter is behind a design. When you look in here, this little loop right here is where your little G clip is going to hook. It's going to go under there and hook onto that. I'm not going to do it. That's probably the one thing I've noticed is this is hard to get off and on in here just because of how restricted your hand movement and dexterity is. But the cool part about this is if you're a person who wants leg straps, I personally don't use them, but that's because I'm a lot more comfortable with my gear. I used them a lot when I started saddle hunting. It's tough to trust a saddle when you get into this. You have no idea that it's actually really safe. It's just tough to get your mind in that direction. So I used mine all the time, and I always noticed that, you know, when they weren't attached, they were swinging and clanging and all that. So this is kind of nice to sort of restrict the movement of these buckles and also sort of protect them a little bit. As you can see, that elastic strap sits over there and then is then covered up by your saddle. And then if we flip it over, I'll show you where the other ones go, if I can get my life together here. So they come up in to here and clip in. Man, come on. So they'll go in like this and just clip right onto this loop here. And again, you've got everything just being perfectly protected and hidden away by other material, so that way you're not doing that stuff, because that's how you don't kill deer. Guys, I also wanted to hit on these drawstrings. So again, when you pull your panel down, which by the way, they got some pretty good, I think they upgraded their magnets. I'm going to have to ask them. These magnets just seem a little better, or maybe they're just better placed. I don't know, but they're pretty nice. So as we pull these drawstrings, this sucker goes right into place every time, which I can't get enough of, but it's like weirdly satisfying. The other thing that I'd like to hit on is these drawstrings right here. So you've got your adjustment. I don't know what this little dude is called here, but your little adjustment button, we'll call it for now. You've also got a little plastic slider, I guess we'll call it. I don't know the terms for these, but essentially you can attach a stick in here and then bam, cinch it right down on your stick, whether it be a Versa button or whatever part you prefer to attach with, and you can carry 2 sticks up the tree. So you set your first stick, maybe you got a 3-step aider on the bottom of that one and a 2-step or a single step or whatever. Or if you're doing 4, you set your first stick, set another stick on top of that step, and then put your 2 sticks hanging right here. Boom. 4 sticks climbing, super easy. So I figured that was an important thing to mention. So overall, I think they knocked this out of the park. I'm sure they have their own way of wording how they want their saddle described, but the way I would put it is, everybody talks about, the nicer saddles being a Cadillac. And this is not a Cadillac. This is a Bugatti. This is as primo as it gets. So when talking from a saddle hunter standpoint, this is offering me, a lot of comfort for all day sits. And let's face it, so many people ask that same question. Can you sit all day in a saddle? Yeah, but I also don't know of a single place that I've ever found where I just want to sit all day, because morning winds change to day winds and then change back to the afternoon winds and the evening wind. Thermals are constantly changing. And those big deer, they're not just running around aimlessly. There is a method. See what I did there? There is a method to their madness. And so, to me, I'm not sitting for 14 hours or whatever in the same tree. If it hasn't happened in the morning, I'm getting down and going to look somewhere else. Do I think you can? For the people that, are just going to go sit in a tree all day, yes. You can sit in this saddle, especially if you practice with it. You can buy the nicest stuff in the world and you still have to practice. So make sure you understand that. But also try to up your game a little bit on actual deer behavior and everything. A big buck is going to live and die by the wind or the thermals and or a sight advantage. So if you're sitting there for 6 hours and you haven't seen anything, you're probably not wrong when you get down to go look and go find out. All right. So this thing comes in regular and XL. You can purchase the standalone saddle, of course, or you can get the kit, which comes with the leg straps. They're Primo Vapor lines that are, I think, 8mm, and then a dump pouch. But I got to mention this thing. This thing deserves an honorable mention at the very least in this video. This just came out, and this is the operator pouch, and this is better than any dump pouch I've ever used. And one of the reasons is because the attaching points here, they just slide right down onto your molly webbing and clip on, and then you can get more of these little doodads and slip them onto your gear strap, and then you remove this and put it up on your gear strap and clip it there. You can open it very easily, and then if you need to keep it shut, you got a range finder and a release that's totaling over $500 or $600 or more. You don't want them to be lost. There's plenty of storage space in both the sides, the front, and the rear. And the first thing I notice when I reach in here is the structural integrity keeps it kind of holding its shape. But man, I guess that's a fleece lining. Super comfortable. It reminds me of my old release dump pouches when I used to compete. So, and then you've got your trusty little loop there. You can hang it on a carabiner or whatever. So I think that's a hell of a piece of equipment, and we'll probably do our own little video just on this because I think it deserves it. So if you're thinking about getting the kit, I would see if you can upgrade to this, because this thing is freaking phenomenal. If you would like to try one of these and purchase it literally on the spot with one of these, come to the Mobile Hunters Expo. We started this show to help educate people on gear and deer. We have high level whitetail education to help you become a better hunter. That doesn't make me the best hunter in the world, because I'm not the one up there talking. I just pick who talks, so that way we can push education and conservation just as much as we're pushing the gear. Now, with that being said, this stuff, there's a lot of great companies at this show. We recently released our vendor list for the Southern show, and we'll do so also for the Midwestern show in Ohio. We have 2 shows. We've got one in the South, and that's this upcoming weekend. It's in Dalton, Georgia at the Dalton Convention Center, and that's August 8th through 10th. Guys, kids 12 and under get in free, and you can pay at the door or online at themobilehuntersexpo.com. We've got poles set up in the middle of the building, and the majority of the vendors will have poles as well. And you'll be able to try saddles and sticks and one sticks and steps and platforms and anything you can think of. G3D is going to be there with all their accessories. And also Hunt 3D. And we've got everything. Wildline Ropes will be there. He's dropping something pretty special that I'm excited about this weekend. So come on out to the shows. We've got another show available in Ohio that's specifically for Midwestern hunters. We try to tailor these to their region because I have no right to tell a guy in Alabama or Georgia to pass a 115-inch deer because I see them like clockwork up here in Ohio. Very different regions. So the Midwestern show is August 22nd through 24th in Wilmington, Ohio at the Roberts Arena Equestrian Center. We've got a huge archery shoot planned for that. $2,000 payout to first, $1,000 to second, and $500 to third. I would check that out and sign up. It's a hunter style shoot. But at the end of the day, homage goes to Latitude for such an amazing addition to the mobile hunting space. Yet again, can't thank you guys enough. And super thankful for everybody that tuned in. I hope to see you at the show this weekend. Catch you on the next one.